All right, we should be good to go now on Twitch and YouTube. And I think, well, we're always waiting on one or two stragglers, but we'll go ahead and get started. I actually don't have too many announcements. We can go ahead and jump into the slideshow. But first, I want to share our links. Okay, live stream links are in the chat. I think everyone here already knows what these links are, probably already has them, but just in case you need them. Before we begin tonight's slideshow, does anyone have anything they would like to announce or share with the group?
It's not 3D, but my newest film is playing in San Francisco at the Bash Festival on the Saturday the 26th in Fort Mason.
Whoa, congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's near me. Do you have a link for more information?
Somewhere, yeah, I can put a link up. I'll go track it down.
Looks like it's all over Google.
Yeah, I think it's not too hard to find, but I'll find something and it's it's not a free screening. I think it's like $25, so I wouldn't really expect people to go and see it. I don't know when my film will show. It's that day, sometime between 1 and 4. Right.
All right. Well, thank you, Steve.
I'll be hanging around.
And do you want to tell us a little bit about the event?
I don't know a lot about it. It's short films. A friend of mine I just texted him today, and he mentioned that he had a film in there. So he liked the way it was run. So.
And what's the title of your film?
I'm sorry?
What's the title of your film?
My film is called Don't Panic. It's a 3-minute animation based on the music of the Hot Club of San Francisco. And unlike my last 2 films, it's not in 3D.
Good to know. Still worth seeing anyway, I'm sure.
I'd be happy to spend the 3 minutes here if we have time for that.
I will at some point be posting it, for free on YouTube, but I usually hold back on that until it's played at festivals a bit.
Yeah, I think the festival would want it that way as well.
That seems to be the case, although a lot of filmmakers are just putting it out there and not worrying about the festivals. The whole dynamic has changed. The paradigm has changed since, I did it in the 70s when there was no internet.
Well, you can always run the film through Mercity conversion. Give us a 3D 3 minutes.
Probably could.
I've had some good luck with 2D videos, converting them.
It seems to be getting better and better.
Yeah, it's pretty frightening.
Well, congratulations, Steve. And yeah, if you find a link, go ahead and post it in the chat. I'm sure some of us here would be interested in seeing that.
I'll get on that.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and start our slideshow. Tonight, of course, is our special division meeting for the month, and the subject is pseudo stereo, and we have some fantastic examples. So let me set this up. Let me share my screen. We do have the live streams running. And let's see how many attempts it'll take me to share the correct slideshow. Oh, got it right the first time. So if you're following along on Zoom, you should see the full width side-by-side slideshow. And we've got a couple half-width side-by-sides running on the live streams and our anaglyph live stream.
And Twitch for the Lume Pad, how would one get there?
So you can, on your Lume Pad, you can either go to the app if you have it installed, or you can go
Installed,
to the
yeah. I've
website.
opened it, but I'm not sure how to get to the meeting from here.
So what you'll want to do is, I guess you'll need to search for our channel, which is GGSS3D.
Okay. Wait a minute.
See if you can find that.
Oops. I plugged in Golden Gate already, so I have to get back one. But go ahead, I don't want to hang it back. So what is it, GG?
GGSS3D.
Got it. Okay. Oh, there it is. All right. Okay. Let me turn off the volume here.
And then
Okay.
you'll do that thing where you share it with the LeaTube app, and that'll give you the 3D live stream.
To share it, I don't see a share button.
In the upper right-hand corner, there'll be a share icon. It's the three dots linked into a sort of a triangular shape. See that?
Okay. I'm not seeing it. I'm seeing a side-by-side. Oh, there we go. Okay, wait a minute.
Yeah, sort of the upper right corner of the screen. And then when you click that, click Share Link.
Got it.
And then it'll give you all sorts of options. The one that you want is LeaTube.
Voila. Thank you so much, sir.
And of course, it might try to do an auto conversion on the side-by-side. That's not what you want. If it does that, there's a settings icon on the upper right-hand corner of the LeaTube app, and it'll let you switch between the different stereo
No,
modes.
it's giving me a nice stereo single image.
Excellent. All right. Stereo Vision, the art of 3D photography. Just a reminder, it's 2 weeks from tonight. I'm very excited about this. I think I have I've received photos from everybody here. If you haven't sent them to me, please do. We will be represented by some legacy members also. Ed Oswald will be participating, Stephanie Ann Blythe, and a few others. And it's shaping up to be a great show. So I hope to see you there. I'll be sending out one more reminder email when we get closer to that date. And that's the only announcement that I really had. Let's begin our pseudo slideshow tonight. Our first photo is by Melinda, and the title is Spherical Lens Flare.
Yeah, so this I took probably several years ago when I was experimenting with puddle reflections, and got this one. The lens flares were totally by accident, but kind of nice. But the lens flares and rainbows are always at infinity, which is kind of disappointing in 3D. But in pseudo, I found it's kind of interesting, especially in this case where the rest of the image is pretty shallow, so it still looks like a very reasonable image, and the lens flares come nicely out of the image plane. And in this case, they made these nice arcs that the top plus the reflected light both together make kind of a spherical lens flare, which I thought was kind of pretty.
Yeah, it's a really clever use of the technique.
It was just lucky. I was just looking back through some of my old pictures for possible pseudo stereo stuff, and I kind of remember looking at this one in stereo, thinking it was kind of interesting, or in pseudo, thinking it was kind of interesting back then. So then I spotted it again when I was going back through my old stuff.
What camera did you use?
I'm pretty sure that's the hydrogen one.
And you crop it, right? Because I believe it's a widescreen, the format of the photo.
I'm sorry, did I crop it? You're saying?
Yes.
Yes, I cropped in a bit.
Okay, nice.
Thanks. Mostly just framed the people.
Yeah, very nice. Thank you, Melinda.
Thank you.
Now, our next photo is by a new member, Wayne Carberg. And I'm hoping that Wayne will make it. He made it to last week's meeting, and he had already submitted these photos. And I asked him if I could show these pseudo stereos this week, and he agreed. I didn't send him a reminder email, so I hope that he does make it to the meeting. But if he doesn't, we do have our recorded YouTube live stream. He may be watching, so let's give him some feedback. The title is In or Out.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah, this
this one isn't pseudo.
Yeah, this
His
just the
first two
regular-
images.
This look. Are you sure this isn't normal?
This is normal.
This is normal.
Pseudo.
Sure looks
Yeah,
normal.
Yeah.
You'll want to flip it.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
I think his next one is the same, but then he's got two more that are properly pseudo.
Still not pseudo. Oh, maybe.
I'm getting it on the side.
Sorry.
The live streams will take a few moments to catch up, and there we go. Now that's pseudo.
Yeah.
But the nice thing is it's very believable as not pseudo.
Yeah, well, being abstract like that, it's easy to accept either reality.
In pseudo, it could be a rock formation. In standard, it's clear that it's aged wood.
Very cool.
Yeah, I like it.
Nice work. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, great colors, good exposure. It's very nice.
Yeah, Bob, that was a great comment about the truth of this photo. It definitely changes it into something, into a different subject, really.
I mean, they're both studies in texture, but it's I don't know. It's really comfortable. There's usually something challenging about pseudo images where portions of it appear to be wrong or something, which is, of course, something that can be used too. But I think it's better when they're more easily viewed like this.
It's definitely
It's funny,
uncomfortable.
When I close my eye, when I close one eye, I find I can't quite visualize the proper orientation. I still see the pseudo.
Oh, interesting.
If you cross-side view this one,
Well, I'm viewing on a TV. I'm using polarized glasses.
Turn them upside down.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, having seen it correct the first time and then pseudo, now looking at it in pseudo, if I close one eye, I find that I've lost all reference for the actual orientation. I still see pseudo with one eye.
I'm going to
That's
switch
an
it back
interesting
to...
observation, because the same thing happened to me, but it's only if I close one eye and then open it again, but if I close both eyes and then open one eye, it has the opposite effect. In other words,
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
okay, so I don't need to
Interesting,
explain
yeah.
this.
With just one eye, I have trouble. I
Yeah, I
have
think
trouble
because
seeing it
if you
either
look
way.
at it with two eyes, and right now, because we're looking at the pseudo, then your brain tells you it's pseudo, and all you're doing is taking away the depth.
Right, because your
But
brain's
when
working
you
off its last
close your
previous
eyes
reference.
and you're looking at it fresh, then your brain interprets it in the proper way. Although this is an amazing picture because it does work both ways, and you know,
Yeah.
I'll be a pain in the ass because technically it's not abstract because it is a representation and it's, you know, you can recognize it, but it sort of reads as abstract because
Yeah.
you can't quite tell, especially because it works both ways. But in strictly speaking, it doesn't abstract because you can tell it's some kind of rock or wood formation.
I would still have a lot of trouble with just a single frame. I wouldn't really know what I'm looking at. I mean, it looks like I can recognize lichen. That's about the only thing that looks like something I can
It
make sense of.
definitely fulfills the requirements of one of these pictures. It's not that interesting unless it's in 3D.
Yeah, that's a
Oh,
good
well,
point.
it's abstract, like you said. So,
Well, I was saying the opposite. I was saying it's
Yeah.
not quite abstract.
oh, okay, sorry.
Some elements of abstraction, but it's not pure abstraction.
I'm going to swap the two views back, and let's try this one eye viewing experiment again. Again, on the live stream, it'll take a few minutes to catch up. A few moments, rather. It should go from being concave to convex.
Yeah, in this case, there's no configuration that makes it, you know, gives me the pseudo because I can sort of recognize it. I think everybody looked at this and immediately kind of realized it was not a pseudo. But then when you see the pseudo, it's kind of believable, which is really fascinating.
Looks better in pseudo.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Wayne. If you join us later, we'll ask you for a few comments. Let's move on to one by Oleg. Yeah, Oleg, tell us about couple enjoying autumn colors in the Sierras pseudo.
Yeah, this is, I looked through many of my other pictures to see if they worked in pseudo. And 4 of them did, and the rest gave me headaches. So this is the one that worked, probably because the couple at the lower left is has shape, whereas the leaves don't.
As with Melinda's picture, I think having the two humans in the same plane works as well. It grounds it.
Yeah, it creates a very interesting sort of structure around them.
It does kind of tell you what it is, though. One of the things I like best about pseudo images is when it's just not clear at all what you're looking at. And it's kind of a fun puzzle to figure out what it is.
I think this is the kind of pseudo stereo photo you can show to somebody who's new to 3D and they won't necessarily recognize that there's something different about it. They'll just see something's happening and assume that that's what 3D is.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Oleg. Phyllis, we have one by you coming up next. The title is Come On In.
Anybody know what this is?
Looks like
Shut up and
shells.
Glass.
Yeah.
Yeah, glass.
It is glass.
Glass, yeah, I can see it now.
In Seattle, the home of Chihuly, and I've done a lot of photography of his work and played with it, and there'll be a few of them in this tonight that are all different images from his glass ceiling. I just like kind of like making different worlds out of it.
And is this mirrored also, or is this the how it originally looks?
Oh no, that's pseudo.
Pseudo, yes, but is the... Oh, I guess it's not mirrored. I was looking... Well, I do see, is there a scene
Yeah.
in the middle? Is this like a reflected,
It's double mirrored.
double mirrored?
Yeah.
Understood.
Vertically and horizontally. So the original is 1/4 of that.
Got it.
Keep seeing a wonderfully bizarre shell clown
Mhm.
in the middle.
That would have been a better name for it.
It's even more pronounced in regular.
Oops. I think the clown has asthma.
It's an interesting effect with the glass because I do expect to be able to look through the translucent glass, which is kind of the effect that I'm seeing here.
This is actually a ceiling. So you walk under it and look up, and boy, was my neck sore after hours of doing this. But it was really fun.
And totally worth it.
And this was shot with a W3.
Lovely. Yeah, great technique. Thank you, Phyllis. All right, Bob, we've got one by you coming up next. Garlic Clove Pseudo is the title.
Well, that kind of gives it away, doesn't it? I should have called it. How about garlic flour?
Mm.
This and one other that I submitted were not taken with cameras at all. This was, I did this on a flatbed scanner.
It does resemble
nice.
flour.
Go ahead.
How did you do that on the scanner?
I opened the lid and I put I cut one side off of a white box and put that over it. And then you have to slide the object in the right direction. Mine is an Epson scanner, and I slid it on the short side and just did a couple of different passes on it.
Okay. Very cool.
Yeah, because the scanning head is going to orient where it is on the scanner. So
Good both directions.
yeah. But I think it doesn't work if you try to move it up and down, so to speak, on the long dimension.
Oh, I meant the image.
Yeah.
Wait.
I've never heard of that technique using a scanner.
Yeah, we used to, when they had the first color Xerox machine in San Francisco, we went down and were doing all sorts of scans, putting our heads and faces and other body parts on the scanner, and not in 3D at that time, but
Classic technique was to roll your face across the scanner with the line so you get both ears.
yeah, exactly.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, great pseudo and a new technique, at least new to me. Thank you, Bob.
Sure.
Steve, we've got one by you coming up. Mexico in Vegas 1.
Yeah, I've shown this a similar picture before.
Similar.
This was an exhibit in Las Vegas, a tribute to the colors of Mexico, and it's a bunch of rooms that have all these displays. You can see me there taking a picture. So it's, mirrors and plexiglass walls, and I think I presented it as something that looks much better in 3D, and in 2D there's not much to enjoy. But I think it also works pseudo, but it sort of looks the same, I think.
Mhm.
But it's if you get to Vegas, it's free. Trying to remember what it was called, but it's right on the strip. Really, really cool, immersive.
I'm headed to Vegas, probably in September to see Wizard of Oz at the Sphere Theater.
At the
So maybe I'll
Sphere,
check
yeah,
this
I've
out.
seen the
Yes.
ads. Now, I did go to the Sphere, and I think I was expecting more from it, but when I saw the ads and they talked about redoing the score and everything, made me want to go back there. So you'll have to give us a full report.
I will. Of course, it won't be a 3D presentation, but
But I assume they're going to use some AI to extend it. So, because it's this, a wraparound screen, it's like a 180.
that's my understanding, yeah. I'm not sure how they'll pull it off, but I'll give you a full report. Yeah, very effective. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Now, our next photo is by another new member, Ed Austin. And Ed couldn't make it tonight, but let's give him some feedback. The title is Reverse Pepper, and I think this is another stereo macro, or rather a stereo micro, perhaps, in pseudo.
I am here actually.
Oh,
I just
hey,
managed to tune in.
welcome. What can you tell us about Reverse Pepper?
Well, it's just some black pepper from a shaker that on a white piece of paper. I'm this is I was going to ask, maybe somebody can tell me why when I printed this out on a paper card and I looked at a little viewer, it was quite dramatic, and they look like really deep holes, and the white looked like kind of like clouds or something floating, but it doesn't really have that much effect on the screen. I don't know why. Maybe somebody can.
It's looking great on the Lume Pad, and
Is it?
the white registers as kind of snow
Yeah.
on the ground, and the indentations are quite deep and really beautiful. I'm curious about the color of some of the black pepper. It's kind of coming out kind of tannish green. Is that?
I guess they call it black pepper, you know, but that's what it said on the can.
No, I'm happy
So I
that it
can tell
wasn't.
you.
It's nice that it has that additional color in there. It's really,
Yeah.
it's beautiful.
Depth is showing well on mine too.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, I'm crossing my eyes and looking at the unpseudo version. I really prefer the pseudo.
And
It's very
what screen
effective.
are you looking at this on? I know that you usually do prints. Are you looking at a smartphone screen or a computer screen?
Well, when I print, I use that the software that you told me about,
The
Stereo Photo Maker, and then it, you know, it displayed it on the desktop computer, just a you know, regular, but
Sure.
I didn't really see the effect very well. I don't.
So you're viewing a side-by-side image?
Yeah, and I used one of these little, you know, viewer things that I bought.
That's
I don't know.
L'Oreo viewer? What are those
Just
cardboard
didn't have to-
viewers?
L'Oreo, Pixie something,
Okay.
Pixie 3D viewer, like, you know, just
Yeah, those aren't
Well,
bad
maybe
viewers.
if I get a better quality.
I'm viewing the YouTube stream on my 3D TV, and I'm definitely getting the cloud effect you were going for.
Okay.
Yeah, I see plenty of depth also. So I think your first impression when you looked at your print was probably closer to what everybody else is seeing. And the reason you're not seeing a lot of depth right now might have to do with
Okay.
the optics of the viewer, might have to do with the size of the monitor. I don't know. It's a subtle 3D effect. There's nothing really kind of coming at you.
Okay.
But it's very effective. On my screen, I'm using a Lume Pad also, same as
Okay.
Bob.
Yeah, I'm looking at it with the mirror viewers, and it has
Oh, what?
similar effect to what Bob mentioned. Looks like snow, and it has a lot of depth. It's actually, yeah, I agree that it looks much more interesting in pseudo. It looks like a bunch of holes dug in the snow, and then maybe some of them lined with gold. Pretty cool.
I don't know if you're familiar with the
Well,
with a Pocoscope 3D viewer too. That's a friend who really likes using that one.
okay.
Let me, oh yeah. Steve Berezin sells those. Let me put that in the chat. That is a nice little viewer. I have a couple of them. Yeah, thanks, Ed. This is beautiful.
Write that down. Thank you.
And Steve, I think you've shown us. Oh, Steve, you're muted. I think you're telling us about your viewer, but we missed that.
Yeah, I got this from Steve Berenson, and these earpieces, the earpieces broke off almost immediately, like about a month after one, and then a few days later the other one. And then I used some old jeans to glue a little piece of fabric, and that's held for years. I think I've had these for like 3 years, and I can't believe it's still. I mean, it can still do that. I put a string to hold it. Yeah, can't do without it because I can cross-eyed, but I can't wall-eye. Or I can, but it's so much work.
Steve, do you have a brand name for that viewer? I'm looking for it on the Berezin website. I'd like to put a link in the chat.
It literally says Berenson on it. I don't know if you can see it with this camera.
Okay.
The camera's trying to. Can you see it?
I can see it. Yeah,
Is it mirror image? I can't.
it
I can't
is.
tell.
Yeah, your background is mirrored.
Yeah.
The logo is a little out of focus. But,
Oh, this background is mirrored?
that background
Yeah.
is mirrored. Yeah.
Oh, for me, it's right. I actually had to go into the paint program and mirrored it so it would look right. But you guys are seeing the opposite of what
looks
I'm
right
seeing.
for
Oh,
you.
that's so I see it as a mirror because we're used to seeing ourselves mirrored.
Right.
But everybody else sees it the other way,
Yes.
which is universal. We never see ourselves the way other people see us.
Plus your pseudo too, Steve.
Yeah. I'll switch it back. I'll do that for the next meeting.
So Ed, I don't want to overwhelm you with all the different viewers and that sort of thing. So we'll move on. But if you have any questions about the kinds of viewers that we're using, just speak up, and we'll see if we can provide you with the information. But thank you for this photo. It's fantastic. All right. Roberto.
Yep.
No, the other Roberto.
The other Roberto. Oh, okay. So many people calling me different things. So
Roberto, welcome.
Yes.
We have one of your photos coming up. The title is Silhouette.
Yes, this was part of an event here in Mexico City that show exhibitions from of architecture and art. And this was a visit here in my neighborhood, a house, really fancy house that I have never spotted, and inside it's really, really fancy. And during the tour, I took this. It is video, and I took this a snapshot of the video, and I like it how it worked in pseudo.
yeah, it's wonderful. The house is closing in on her.
Yeah, I agree. I think it really is powerful this way. I like it the normal way too, but this is really powerful. Really makes you question what's going on.
Yes, this was like a lucky strike because I wasn't. I committed the mistake of on a stereo photo maker selecting the reverse version of the view, of the left and right, and I spotted like it didn't look like that bad, and it was like only a lucky strike. I didn't expect this.
That's great.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
It's interesting.
think
In the pictures with human figures, I think it's interesting that, at least, I don't know about you, but I don't perceive the human figures to be inverted at all, just their environments. And I think it's just our programming, just our mental programming of identifying human forms.
Plus she fits in that reality too. I mean, the walls aren't really conflicting with her.
For me, I think it's even stronger. My understanding of what the picture is seems to override my sense of depth. I'm saying it poorly, but I know that Tor said something like this a little while ago.
Oh, well, last week we had a shot that was accidentally pseudo, but the perspective lines were so strong that you could still tell what was foreground and what was background.
Yeah, you know what it's supposed to be, and it's familiar enough, and somehow in my mind I sort of force it to be the right geometry.
Well, yes, I hope you have enjoyed my lucky strike.
A happy accident indeed.
Yes.
That's a great feeling. Well, thank you, Roberto.
You're welcome.
Melinda, you're up next. The title is Deep Space.
Yeah, so does anybody want to take a stab at it first?
Waves, water,
splash.
Definitely water.
water in space.
Side down.
Is it upside down as well as pseudo?
Very good.
Ah.
Yeah, I flipped it upside down just so. Well, actually, first it's a much cropped in version of an old stereo image, and I cropped out all the real clues as to anything else recognizable. It's still recognizable as water, but yeah, it's got a lot of spray over a dark background. It was from an image that I took of an artificial creek. So I held the camera pretty close to the surface of the water, and there were all these droplets that I couldn't even see when I was there. It was only from the camera's point of view that the droplets against the black background became visible. And now here, of course, the droplets go way into the background, so it looks like a star field.
The Aquarius galaxy. It's beautiful.
Yeah, that's what pseudo should look like.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nice.
thank you.
Melinda, did you invert this? Is this like
Yes.
a negative? It is. Okay.
Yeah, and if you let's see if yeah, I guess you'd probably have to invert it again to really see what's happening. Just switching to normal mode doesn't.
Well, one thing that tricks the scale is that there are these large flat rocks in the background, and upside down in foreground, they appear to be water close up, with the softer waves that suggest that they're smaller and closer.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. Yeah, you're right. Those are rocks. And then on the very bottom, you see a little bit of light leaking in where that's some sunshine
From overhead, yeah.
that was coming in. Yeah.
No, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That's gorgeous. Colors and the textures are really wonderful.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
great.
thank you. Yeah, that's what I liked about it.
So if this were an actual stereo image of deep space, how far away would the cameras need to be to capture this level of depth?
Depends how
Many
deep.
light years. Yeah, that's amazing. It looks like the intro of a Marvel movie. Thank you, Melinda.
Mm.
Our next photo is by Wayne, and Wayne hasn't made it to the meeting yet, but he may be watching on our YouTube or our Twitch stream, or he may be watching our recorded YouTube stream. So let's let him know how we feel about this. I think this is one that is not currently pseudo.
Yeah, this is
Let
is
me
standard.
swap them.
No, it's a pseudo, I believe.
Is
Yeah.
it?
It was pseudo.
No,
Well, it's normal in cross view, but this is correctly pseudo.
This was really
Yeah.
interesting. It actually looks believable either way.
Yeah. I thought it was pseudo originally.
It depends on if the letters are carved into
Yeah.
the metal or if they're either recessed or extended.
it's just that one little bit on the left
Is
that
there some?
has a conflict.
There must be some telltale thing.
I'm looking at the shadows. I'm trying to see if the shadows jump one way or the other.
I think this is correct.
It seems like the letters are too high, too tall in this swapped version that I'm showing right now.
I agree, and
I
I
feel like
think
that
I
eye
think
would get
Tor
knocked off.
put his finger on it. There's a dark shadow over top of the letters, and which indicates that there's a light coming from underneath which of course it could be, but normally the light comes from overhead.
Mm-hmm. Let's switch this back.
I think it would be really hard to get those letters to stand up like that.
Yeah. I think this is the way it is right now is the proper way, is the way it is. And so the pseudo would be the way it just was a second ago.
I'll switch back and forth. I'll just give it a moment to catch up. Yeah, so this is how it was originally submitted.
I think that's pseudo.
I really can't tell.
I think the giveaway is the that dark splotch on the left center, because I think it's a hole in the original metal, and in pseudo it makes a big tall spike, and there's no shadow. There's no corresponding shadow or anything that tall.
Looks like an ant.
Oh, you know what? Okay. I'm gonna say that this is the pseudo version because those little white details look like indentations.
Yep.
When they're grains at the bottom of a groove in the reversed version. So this is the pseudo.
Yep. I will for this.
Well, we'll have to find out from Wayne later what the answer really is.
Also, that ridge across the top is too sharp for the scale if this is standard. So yeah, this is the pseudo. It's a groove in real life, and it just looks like a ridge here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, place your bets before we move on. And
flip a coin.
When Wayne visits us again, we'll get the answer. This is a really fun one. There's an element of mystery to this. Thank you, Wayne. Oleg. Oleg, coming up next is here we go. Big Sur Bridge, mirrored and pseudo.
Yeah, I think it's cheating to do a mirror because anything looks good when it's mirrored. But I did that anyway.
Not all of them work pseudo, though.
Giving me some
Not
trouble.
all mirrored images work as pseudo.
Yeah, and I think you're underestimating yourself with mirroring because you gotta find the exact right spot, otherwise it doesn't work in 3D. I've spent a lot of time trying to find that perfect place. So, I think maybe you have a good instinct for where to put the edge of the mirror.
Or a lot of time in Photoshop as well.
Yeah.
But this is one of those that works either way, straight or pseudo. Looks wonderful.
Yeah, it has an element of mystery either way. It's hard to tell exactly what it is. I mean, the sign, the yellow and black sign, is a little bit of a giveaway, but still, it's hard to tell.
I'm having a little trouble with the white lines though. In pseudo, I can't really fuse them, and in regular, it looks okay, but it looks like it's floating off the surface.
That's because, yeah, the sign's in the way.
Yeah, I'm having a little bit of trouble with that intersection. The white line and the yellow sign.
Might be an interesting experiment to just paint the white line straight through on top of the sign. See
Mhm.
if that
Yeah, you can do
Thanks.
that.
That would do something, yeah.
It's a good idea.
The original image is really cool, though.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Oleg. Phyllis, coming up next is Dancing Light.
This is another one of the Chihuly displays at the Chihuly Garden and Glass.
Mirrored top to bottom.
Looks like it.
What was that?
This is mirrored top to bottom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Phyllis, what was the scale of these objects? Was this another W3 shot?
It was. This is a section of it, of the piece that's probably 30 feet long.
Oh.
And this is just a small section of it. They're probably maybe 6 feet high and 30 feet long.
Beautiful.
And it is actually mirrored onto a mirror, but I don't have that part of it in there. It's a dark room with just these beautiful glass pieces lit.
Yeah, they remind me
It
of
almost-
microscopic life forms.
Yeah, mushrooms was the first thing I thought.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of a time lapse of painting with light. Some moving a flashlight around during an exposure.
I think we'll be seeing some pseudo light painting later in tonight's slideshow.
Do we?
That's coming up, Roberto.
No.
All right, thanks, Phyllis.
Thank you.
And let's see, there he is. Peter, welcome.
Hello. Excuse me.
How you doing?
I'm fine. Thank you very much. I'm a little late, but glad I joined.
That's okay. Glad to have you here. Let's move on to one by Bob. This will be Paris Reflects on London Pseudo.
In keeping with the mirrored theme.
Like a floating orb.
Yeah, I've shown this before as in the normal view. This again is mirrored twice, and these are the columns in front of the Natural History Museum in London. And the orb is from a sculpture in the Palais Royal in Paris. It's actually a selfie there, but
That is awesome.
Like a Babylonian suit of armor or something.
yeah, I just love the entrance to that museum. It's one of my favorites.
Which one?
It's the Natural History Museum.
Yeah. Boy, the columns didn't look that pretty when I saw them.
Well, I kind of boosted the colors a bit. I hit that saturation.
Native coloring there.
Tripped and fell on the saturation slider. But I love the way it comes out, this theatrical mask where they're mirroring at the top. I see that face there.
Looks almost Mayan or
Yeah.
Egyptian.
Yeah.
Or
Very
samurai.
It's very cool.
Thanks.
I remember when you posted this before. I think I like this better non-pseudo.
Yeah, I prefer the non-pseudo version too, but I wanted to get something in tonight, so this was the thing that hit my Finder search first.
I like the pseudo. I like the fact that it feels like it's inside,
Mm-hmm.
going inside the body.
Yeah.
Makes it much more mysterious.
It's
Although
it's
the
definitely
other-
mysterious, but this is a really, I mean, Bob has his share of great pictures, but this is one I remembered from, it's probably more than a year ago.
Yeah, it's got its share of PSA medals there.
Very cool.
Yeah, thank you, Bob.
Sure.
A couple things before we move on. Jay, thank you for putting the link to Steve's viewer in the chat. I looked for it and I couldn't find it. So that's another great option, Ed, or for anyone who's looking for a screen or print viewer. It's a beam splitter, right, Steve? It's got an arrangement of mirrors in there that make direct
Yeah.
the proper view
Yeah,
to the proper eye.
I thought it was some kind of prism, but really, yeah, it's just mirrors that just angle slightly, and it's got an adjustment on the top, so you can change the parallax. Can be helpful for those magic eye pictures.
Of
Okay,
course.
thank you.
One more thing before we move on. For those who have downloaded the files for tonight's slideshow, I realize I kind of mixed up the numbering. We have 2 number 13s and 2 number 14s. I don't know how I did that. It doesn't really affect the slideshow, but if you get out of order following along with me, that's what happened. So that said, let's move on to Roberto's Mexican Buddha.
Okay, so we made it.
We made it, yes. And this is the light painting I promised.
Oh,
Yes. Yes, I have been experimenting with my QX1, long exposure, and also two strokes. And here this is a really dark place that I arranged here in my home that I needed to be really dark because light painting, if you leave any kind of sliding light, it will blow up the photograph. So this is like a pitch black place that I arranged, and then with the strokes I froze my image, and then I draw the circle. And this is an experiment that I am a member of a nudist group here in Mexico, and we have to propose new activities. And I am proposing a light painting session with my friends.
All right.
Did you say you're in Mexico City?
Yes.
All right. I have a nephew living there, so next time I visit him, I'll have to give you a call.
Sure. Yes, you are welcome here. I will show you some really good tacos here in Mexico.
and how exactly did you make the circles?
Yes, I have an LED RGB LED bar, like, and it's you can select the color of the light. But in this case, I play with the color balance of the program. In this case, I use Affinity, and the brighter places turn it yellow, and the darkest red. So the real LED light was red.
And you were standing facing the camera and then just made some big circles?
Yes, well, first I have to shut the strobes. Set my cameras for 30 seconds and then shut the strobes. So I capture I freeze my body, and then I turn on the lamp and then make the circles and then let the 30 seconds run.
So you're in a pitch black room.
Yes.
And you hit yourself with the flash, and that's what we see, your figure. And
yes.
For the rest of the exposure, the 30-second exposure, you're pretty much invisible because you're moving
That's
this
right.
Light source.
Yes.
I think I can see maybe a wisp of an arm or something there, but right, since you're moving in this dark space, the camera doesn't register you, just the light effect that you're painting here.
Yes, that's right. Actually, I share with you in the chat some other examples. Maybe I will submit next month some of these examples dressed. And in some of those, I commit the mistake of pointing the source of light to the back of the room, and I am like a transparent element because so I have to keep the light always pointing to the camera, so it's the image of my body appears solid.
Yeah, I put that. I reposted your Instagram link, Roberto. It's in the chat, and he has some other experiments, maybe not as successful as this one, and not pseudo like this one, but they're definitely worth looking at.
Yes, I tried other versions with pseudo, but those didn't work, so I decided this is the best example for this topic.
Yeah, I really like this effect.
Yeah, I think it works better in pseudo.
The pseudo treatment puts you in the middle of the light stream instead of
exactly.
behind it. Yeah.
And then the blue stuff around, in the upper right comes forward. I think it's a better composition than pseudo.
Yeah, actually, yes.
I think it's really fascinating either way. I agree. I think it's probably a little more interesting in pseudo. But Matt, didn't you do didn't you build a rig for light painting and an app for light painting?
Oh,
Would you
here
call
we
that
go.
light painting what you were doing?
You've opened up Pandora's box. I'll share those with the world again. I do have an album of stereo light paintings that I did and that I showed years ago. In fact, I think I exhibited them at 3D Con. Gosh, was that 2013? I don't remember.
No, there was some great stuff.
I do need to revive that project. I was doing a lot of stereo light paintings there.
Yeah, I wanted to figure out a way to animate them.
You have to make it repeatable.
Yeah, I explored that topic,
yeah.
And it's beyond my capabilities, but that would be the next step, yeah.
What camera did you use for stereo light painting?
I used a pair of DSLRs, Canon Rebels, that I had pointed towards mirrors so that I could get the lenses closer. I do have a video that shows how I made them. I'll see if I can post that. But I don't want to take too much attention off of your photo here, which is right in front of us, and which I think is very successful.
Thank you.
And yeah, please share your light painting experiments with us next month.
Perfect. Sure, I will do it.
Okay.
Thanks.
Let's see. Yeah, thank you, Roberto. Melinda, we have one by you coming up next. And the title is Funnel.
Yeah, so for this topic, I was wondering what kind of shapes I wanted to deal with, and I decided I wanted something that had sort of a receding depth toward the center that I would invert and make, come out of the image. And there's a building in my neighborhood that's still covered in scaffolding, and it's got one of those trash chutes. It goes down from the roof. And I thought, oh, that's perfect. I'll just shoot straight up the tube. And first I did it with my budgeted one, but it didn't have enough depth. So then I went back out there with the DSLR and took some cha-chas, maybe about 2 inches apart.
Great, beautiful lighting and texture.
Yeah, thanks. This was actually at the end of the day. It was probably even after sunset. It's pretty dark, but once I sort of cranked up the contrast and stuff, all that lovely detail came out.
And I'm getting on the Lume Pad. There's a gorgeous blue tint to the texture there, but I'm not. It's a little grayer on my iPad.
It's definitely blue. Yeah, I like that too. I'm guessing it's the color. It's the color of the sky.
Oh, interesting. Maybe
I'm not sure what the color of the actual plastic is. I think it's like maybe a very dark gray.
Yeah, I'm getting slate gray on the iPad, and I'm much bluer.
Yep, gray here in my iPad.
Both are gorgeous.
Yep.
Kind of reminds me of a spring.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. I like all the scratches on the inside of the plastic.
You might even consider pushing it toward us a little more in the pseudo version there.
That's not a bad idea. I don't know why.
Even the center is in back of the window there.
Yeah, that was my intention, but I don't know why I didn't do that here. It's a good idea. Thanks.
And it's very sci-fi with that background. It's hard to tell what that landscape is. It looks very dystopian.
And it's hard to tell where the light is coming from, since this is sort of a translucent material.
Well, no, the material is pretty opaque,
Is
but
it?
the
Is it plastic or is it? I thought
yeah,
it was
it's a thick plastic, but it's they're nested little cones. They're a little bit tapered so that each one fits into the one below it, and the trash can't get out through the cracks. But there's plenty of light that comes in through the cracks.
Ah, I see. Yeah, it had me fooled.
If you flip it into regular mode, it'll probably make sense.
Yeah, as with others in this group, when I look at it with one eye, I can make more sense of it, but it's more interesting with two eyes in pseudo. Yeah, thank you, Melinda.
Mm-hmm.
Steve, tell us about Munich Shop.
It's probably self-explanatory. It's I was just taking the sign and I was fully intending to, find some semi-abstract. I remembered I had taken some pictures of some sculptures at a museum that I thought would look really cool in pseudo. And as I was trying to remember when I took the pictures, going through other pictures, and this was one I never thought would work, but because I think the sign, extending out from the wall was made out of these, pieces of iron, which have a lot of holes in it. And the windows are nice and clean, that those those squares just pop out. And much more interesting, I think, in pseudo because of the floating windows.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the windows are coming forward, but the wall isn't. That just doesn't make sense.
I mean, it's pretty easy to see. I think that was a good suggestion to cross your eyes to see what the original looks like. Of course, Matt can always click the X if you're using Stereo Photo Maker.
Steve, would you like a before and after? Do you want me to switch it?
Go for it.
All right, this will catch up on the live streams in a few moments.
So yeah, so there you can just see the sign is sticking out from the wall. And I think just the way that the windows interacted with the sign, and the fact that it wasn't solid where the windows are, that it's just serendipitously made the windows kind of jump out. Wasn't really looking for this one, but did what I think a lot of people did, just look through your old photos, see which ones could work, which is part of the fun of this assignment. Oh, so you can probably go back to the
I will before I forget and show the rest of the slideshow non-pseudo.
It's amazing that the windows stand out, but the wall doesn't. The word sparkles or whatever it is stands out, but the wall stays back there, and that's just weird.
Well, I think it's because the wall doesn't have any detail in it, and your brain just puts it there. It's interesting though, because usually your brain will put the window and keep the window and the wall together. But I think because the depth is so obvious with the windows and there's nothing in the wall, I think that also helped. The fact that there's no detail in the wall, that it just sits back there.
Really?
One of these mysteries. You can go ahead and flip it the other way, Matt.
Is it still not pseudo?
Yeah, still normal.
It's normal now.
It's definitely pseudo on the YouTube stream.
Now it's correct.
There we go.
I'm looking at it on the Zoom feed, which is usually the first one, I think.
It was a little stuck, but it's working now.
Yeah.
Yeah, the effect I get is that the sign is painted on the wall.
Yeah, I think that's what's making it work.
Yeah, you're right.
The sign is back, so you assume it's on the wall.
I think that's, again, because the wall doesn't have anything distinct, so your brain just places it where it logically would go.
Yeah.
I hope it's healthy that we're messing with our perception this way, that this isn't going to be a permanent affliction or something.
Don't operate any heavy machinery after doing this.
Now, I did come across plans, and I forget, for a pseudoscope, which is a device, and I'm probably not the first person to learn of this optical instrument, but a pseudoscope is a device you look through to see the world pseudo. And it's an arrangement of mirrors similar to the viewers that we use to view these stereo pairs. And I'd love to put one of those together. See how far I can get in a world where everything is inside out.
Your brain will figure it out. I mean, it might take a day or so, but you will definitely rewire quickly.
I don't know how people are for free viewing. As I mentioned before, I can pretty easily free view cross-eyed. So If you can go cross-eyed easily, then you have a pseudo viewer already in your head. I can't go wall-eyed, but I remember we took a survey at the con, and it was split. It's pretty much 50-50. It wasn't, you know, a very scientific sample. It was about, you know, 20 people. But I thought everybody could see, I mean, because it's easy. You just look at your finger and follow it, but it's much harder to do the wall-eye. To me. But it turns out some people have no problem doing wall-eyed and can't do cross-eyed. And then there's some people who can do either.
I think wall-eyed is a little bit easier to learn, but only for small images.
I can do wall-eyed on my phone, and I can't do cross-eyed on my phone.
You can't do cross-eyed on your phone.
I cannot.
That's strange.
The image is too small. I just can't do it. I've tried and tried.
I'm doing wall-eyed and I'm about 8 inches away from my iPad.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have an iPad, but I can do on my computer screen, I can easily do cross-eyed, but I need this device to do wall-eyed.
Interesting. I'm a wall-eyed viewer myself, but I learned to review using stereo cards. And that's, I'm sure if the standard was swapped, then I would have learned cross-eyed.
I mean, I learned wall-eyed when those magic eye pictures became all the rage. But it was always an effort. I can do, I still, and even today, as people post them online, even today, I have to really work at it. I have to stare at something in the distance. But cross-eyed, I can just do it in a second. Not sure why. I think maybe because I like Jerry Lewis movies.
Well, those magic eye posters are very challenging, and it's surprising how popular they were, considering how difficult they are to resolve. I guess there's a big payoff if you're willing to make
I
the
think
effort.
that's a really good point. I would never have thought, considering some people don't even like to wear glasses and watch 3D movies, that they were willing to go to the effort. But yeah, it's so magical when you look at something that doesn't look like anything. And you know, people post porn pictures, and I was thinking, this is the perfect way to look at porn. You know, your spouse cannot tell what you're looking at.
All right. Thank you, Steve.
Went a little far afield there.
That's okay. It's all relevant. And incidentally, this is not a pseudo topic, but I did post a link to a video of my light paintings. Roberto, I think you'd be the most interested. I think everyone else here has
Sure.
seen these and are probably over them, but I'll get around to posting those to Instagram one of these days too. But enough of that. Our next photo is by Wayne. Rock Rot is the title. This one looks pseudo to me. I think we're looking at a lichen, maybe. Let's discuss. What do you guys see?
Maybe Mars?
That's my reaction. I think this is definitely pseudo.
Yeah.
And I think we're looking at a lichen. It's a nice stereo macro as well.
It looks like a mountain on Mars.
Yeah, I was going to say it could be a stereo hyper from a drone on Mars. Yeah.
from the Mars Express orbiter.
Yeah.
Could be Olympus Mons, the volcano on Mars.
More interesting pseudo, I think.
Yeah, lovely colors and textures. Again.
To me, it looks like something out of a proctologist's office.
I was
In
going
the-
to say something similar, but
In the regular mode, you mean? But in pseudo, it looks like a
Yeah.
mountain, right?
An innie or an outie.
Yeah. Pseudo, you don't want to sit on it or you'll end up in the proctologist's office.
There's definitely something organic about this.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Wayne. Oleg, our next photo is by you. Poster in a Corte Madera shopping mall pseudo is the title.
Yeah, this is one of the few pictures that look good to me.
It's like a collage.
I can see, Oleg, I think you're employing your kind of framing effect. I see vertical and horizontal divisions, and it's interesting to me how they hold up in pseudo. Was that your intention?
Well, I didn't take it in pseudo, but I like the strength of the portrait in where it's placed.
Almost giving her horns there.
Yeah, all right. Thank you, Oleg. Phyllis, next is one by you. Tell us about floating.
Same idea. Just more wonderful glass and color.
Phyllis, what's the light source? Looks like, is this illuminated from behind?
Yeah, it's a ceiling,
It
so
is
it's
also a ceiling.
illuminated behind the glass. So it's the lights, the artwork, and then a sheet of glass that you're looking up into. It's an actual ceiling. He has a swimming pool that is got glass in the bottom of it, also in his home, which is way cool.
The swimming pool, can you see through the bottom? Is it?
The glass is on the bottom, and then it's covered by a protective sheet of glass. But so you're swimming on top of
Wow.
on top of the artwork. It's just incredible.
Mm.
It's beautiful to look at.
I don't know if you've seen this, but it's like saturated colors. Like, I don't know, like the limit between the gradient of the greens and the blues is like solid. But I don't know if it's the effect of the glass.
His glass is extremely colorful.
Okay.
I don't think I did too much on this. I might have done a little bit of saturation, but not a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm curious now.
Less saturated actually when it's reversed.
Okay.
For me, maybe not. But
You know, the color transitions, like from the green to the blue to the red. Phyllis, do you know, is that a quality of the glass, or are these maybe reflected colors we're seeing?
it's probably a little bit of both.
Hmm.
The glass is very colorful and well lit, but they're also, reflecting on each other a bit also.
Well, it's a great subject. Thank you, Phyllis. Okay, Bob. Next is Portobello pseudo. I'm guessing you used a similar technique.
Yeah, this
Tell
was
us how you did
flatbed
it.
scanner. Also what I had for dinner tonight, but not the same portobello.
Great texture.
Yeah, I love them.
And that's the classic pseudo effect, maybe
Mhm.
turning an outie into an innie.
I was looking for a wonderful one that I had of a squirrel on a rock that in pseudo just looked like a fossil of a squirrel,
Oh,
but I couldn't find it.
About how much did you move it?
This one, oh, hard to tell. It's been a while since I did this, but I don't imagine very much, definitely less than an inch. I don't have that scanner anymore, and I'm not sure how much distance there was, because I know the light beam travels across, and then
did you have something to cover it, or did use a dark room?
no, as I mentioned before, it's the lid's off, and I had a kind of a translucent box. Maybe I thought it was just a. No, I don't think I had a translucent. It was just a white box, or I folded a piece of white cardboard over it.
Okay.
So the light from the scanner is actually providing a lot of that illumination. In fact, all of it.
And Bob, just so that I'm clear about this technique, is this two separate scans, and between the scans you moved the object slightly?
Correct.
Okay,
Exactly.
makes sense.
And as I recall, it's if you imagine a flatbed scanner and you lift up the lid and it's, you're looking at the long view of it. You want to move the object left to right or right to left, doesn't really matter, on the short length.
The short length makes sense.
Unless I've got it. No, I'm pretty sure. You have to just, it has to match the direction the light device is traveling across the plate, and you want to keep that orientation the same as the direction you're moving your object.
On mine, it's lengthwise, I think.
And I guess
Only
you have to be
one
careful not to. Oh, go ahead,
example,
Bob.
find out which way to switch on it. But I have one I can show next time. I put a dead fly on the scanner. It's wonderful. Not so wonderful for the fly, but it was just beautiful.
And I imagine you have to be careful not to rotate the object when you're moving it. You're not on any sort of slide bar or anything. You just have to be very careful, I presume.
Yeah.
The movement.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you did that with that so carefully. They line up perfectly.
Well, this, stereo photo maker helps with this one.
Ah, that's true.
although I think it was pretty close. I did even out the background. And I may have changed the color on the background, but yeah, no, I love the texture.
Yeah, the texture reminds me of like a copper coil in a motor or something. Very nice.
Thanks.
Great technique. I've never seen scanner-based stereo photography before, pseudo or otherwise. What a lot of fun. Great idea.
Thanks.
Steve, we have one by you next. Olympiaturm Munich.
So yeah, just like the last picture, we're in Germany. This is actually the BMW museum that is not too far from an Olympic Village. And this tower is one of the structures for that, reflected in the mirror-like facade of the BMW museum. And this looked interesting. I think the structure kind of fit right in the panels, and it looks like they're kind of extending from the mirror.
Yeah, popping out.
Yeah, this seems to really enhance the stereo effect compared to the natural version.
Yeah, the natural version looks like an ordinary mirror. You can just see the the reflection recessed back into the mirror. And I think this is similar to the other German one with the windows that, I'm sure that I was trying to position myself so I could see the whole tower. So that definitely helps. But yeah, I had no, when I took this, I was definitely not thinking about pseudo. You didn't think about it till you picked that as the topic for this month.
Just purely as an abstract, it's a good composition. It's got all these diagonals everywhere.
Yeah, it does kind of read like that. If you
So that was probably to do
could be
with
some
the
like
way you framed it.
scenery.
Yeah.
I know you have a lot of pictures like that, little gears and things that you use for your projects. And yeah, if you didn't know, you might think it was some little piece of machinery.
To me, the pseudo makes the towers look miniature. I don't really have a clear sense of scale in this photo, but they, because I think they're in the foreground now, they seem small.
Yeah, I think you're going to get that same effect in my last picture.
Although even in regular mode, they look kind of diminutive because they're behind the mirror, but only a short ways, like probably the same depth as the
I think
trees
so.
on the
I think
right.
part of what's deceptive is in the non-pseudo, you can tell, oh, you just switched it.
I just
You can
switched it,
tell
yeah.
that they're mirrors. I think you can, but you're not used to the fact that I mean these are huge mirrors, and so they kind of look small because you don't expect a mirror to be this big. I mean, it's like a 25-foot mirror.
What's your separation, or what camera is that?
It's just W3.
Huh.
That's pretty much it for me, unless I'm, doing it in Photoshop or Affinity.
Yeah, when I flipped the views, I didn't find the natural version to make more sense than the pseudo version. I think the pseudo version to me works better.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It is such an unusual structure, and you've taken this photo at a very dynamic angle, so the pseudo makes it for me. All right, thank you, Steve.
Thanks, everybody.
Melinda, tell us about Tree Framed.
Yeah, so this was an image that I'd taken a while back. And in pseudo it was kind of interesting. But I think it got more interesting when I cropped in tight on the trees. The trees are the real star of the picture. And because they're in the background, of course, in pseudo, it's the foreground object. And the and one thing I did, there was a lot of fighting between the boat masts and things that are in front of the trees, appearing behind the trees. And so I spent a fair amount of time painting out those contributions wherever they are in front of the dark trees. And I think that makes it a lot easier to view in pseudo. There's still a lot of funny stuff going on that's kind of challenging, but at least the now the crowns of the trees and the reflections are comfortably in the foreground.
Very surreal.
Thanks. Yeah, and the dock that sort of walkway is kind of leads right through the framing of the trees.
That perspective thing again, where we know where the dock really goes in space, so even though it's inverted, we still see it receding.
Oh, yeah, absolutely right. I didn't even notice that.
Oh, you did a great job painting those trees. The top third of the photo where the trees and the masts are interacting looks very natural after you retouched it there.
Yeah, thanks. It was just much too busy before.
Yeah, I think surreal accurately describes this one. Oh, fantastic. Thank you, Melinda.
Hmm?
We have one more from Wayne. I don't think he'll be making the meeting, but hopefully we'll see him next time. I'll direct him to our recorded live stream so that he can hear our comments if he's curious. But let's hear it for Worn Snow. This one to me is really, really out the window.
Yeah.
Looks like a piece of marble to me.
This is one that could be believed either way. Works both ways.
think I'd readjust the window for this one, because yeah, it really is all in front. It gets a little janky in the sides.
Let me see if there's something I can do.
Yeah, you have to move it. You have to move the stereo window way, way forward.
I'm just going to do kind of a quick and dirty job, but I am going to attempt to adjust these for us. So I'm curious. I would normally ask permission, but I'll ask for forgiveness instead. Okay, so I did adjust the stereo window, and it looks like he's rotated it also. Or no, I guess it just appears that way.
Yeah.
It looks like it's upside down, but I guess if we swap the views, it would be correct.
So it is now stretched sideways on the YouTube feed, and it's still pretty far out the window.
Okay, let's move on.
Got it?
Better fun.
Okay, I move on to the next one. I need to make sure that I didn't make any sort of permanent change here. But the next photo is by Oleg, and the title is Weather-Worn Wooden Wall Pseudo. There we go. That looks like it's working. Oleg, what can you tell us?
Again, it's just a picture that look all right amongst hundreds that didn't look good.
Kandinsky in the Old West.
Nice texture.
Yeah, very nice, Oleg.
Thank you.
All right, don't mind me. I'm just straightening up here. Phyllis, we have one more by you for tonight's pseudo special division. Going In is the title.
This is a art installation in the Victoria and Albert Museum in London, and I was just fascinated by it. I probably shot, I don't know, maybe at least half dozen or more images of it, and it was just, this one seemed to work pseudo for me, where the rest of them didn't.
The YouTube feed is squashed
I see it.
vertically.
Let me see if I can resolve that. That's what I get for adjusting somebody else's stereo photo. All right, well, we might just have to live with that for, oh no, there we go. Tor, the YouTube stream will correct itself in just a minute. All right, sorry about that. I got a little bit distracted.
Whoa. The YouTube feed is now anaglyph. No, now we're back
Now
to it. Okay.
It's all
right.
part of a plan.
It's all nice now. That's a very lovely picture.
This one was shot with a cell phone as a cha-cha. The rest of them were W3s, I think.
Yeah, the Twitch feed is still squashed top to bottom.
Yeah, let me fix that for us. I see it too. And there we go. Okay. Sorry about that. I definitely don't want to show these stereo photos in an incorrect aspect ratio or anything like that. Twitch should be fixing itself any minute now. First, you'll see, there we go.
I had to line up the circles with the images that were kind of behind them so that, and it was really tricky, so that there'd be an image in the circle.
Yeah, it's interesting how the lenses form in pseudo.
To me, the lens looks natural in pseudo. Is that my perception filling in the blanks?
Probably.
It looks like the lens is coming out to me. It
Yeah.
looks convex.
Yeah, it's like the view is in front of the lens.
The regular, it looks a little more concave or even a little flat.
Oh, that makes sense.
It was a fascinating display, though. Lots of different ways you could walk on both sides of it. So I had to wait for people to not be walking.
How large is this piece? It looks pretty substantial.
Well, probably maybe 20 feet by 8 feet high.
Yeah.
And this again is a portion of it. I couldn't get far enough back. It was in a hallway, and the hallway wasn't wide enough to be able to get back without standing on another piece of art, which they frowned on.
Right.
So I could only get small segments at a time. It was metal and glass. It was, and the image on the wall behind it was, I don't know. Well, it looks like it must have been the same artist, but it depended on where you were standing as to how the circles lined up with what was on the back wall.
Oh, very successful.
Do people like it better as pseudo or as regular?
It kind of works both ways.
Do we want to see it regular? I can switch it without breaking too many things. I'll try
Sure,
it.
let's give it a shot.
I'll just go back and forth. I'll just give us a glimpse before we move on. And here we go. Well, it definitely makes more sense for me reversed.
You mean normal?
Normal, yeah. But there's there's a certain energy to the pseudo version.
That's how I feel about
that
it.
I appreciate.
I think I prefer the non-pseudo version. I think it's enigmatic enough to be interesting in its natural state. And plus, since it's another artist's work, I think it's maybe better to show it that way, since it is really, the two ways look very similar. I agree with Thor. They both work.
I like the big circle in front, the opposite of what it is now. Just my feeling on it. But as was said, they're good either way.
Thanks for the feedback.
Oh, thank you, Phyllis.
I like both the convex and concave two lenses on the left and right in pseudo. I think I prefer that.
What might be interesting, Phyllis, is to do one of those Walgreen flip shot things where you put a pseudo and a normal together and have them flip on those lenticular lenses they have. Are you familiar
Do
with
that
that? Walgreen has a service, 5-inch square flippy shot or whatever
is
they
that
call
right?
it.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah.
didn't know that.
They don't have it in Canada, but they have it in the States. And pseudo flipping back and forth might work nicely.
All right. I'll have to give that a try.
Yeah, lenticular printing.
Is that
that's a
just
whole nother
two
subject.
images?
Yeah, just two. It's meant for side by side flipping, but I turn them sideways when I do any, so I get horizontal lens direction for up and down flipping. And that's better for handheld things that we do here.
But they just require a left and a right.
Yeah, they use them with left and rights often as their purpose, but I use them for just two different images that match in some way.
Do you remember what they charge for that?
I think they were about $3.50 each for a 5-inch square.
Hmm.
They're in Buffalo, I know that. I don't know if they're available on the West Coast or not.
That is a lenticular.
Yeah, it's a lenticular. And it's quite good extinction on the flipping. It's not too ghosty. It's half decent.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's great.
That's good to know.
Give her a try.
Thanks for the tip, Peter.
My pleasure.
Well,
You
thank
coming
you,
to
Phyllis.
NSA?
Yeah, I'm going there. Minneapolis.
See you there.
I'll see you there too. See anybody who's going there.
Bob, I hope I didn't miss one of your photos.
No,
I
think I just put in three.
Three, okay. So for those who downloaded the files, number 24 will strike that. That's actually Roberto's photo, silhouette. I mistakenly put it in twice and I attributed it to Bob. Wrong, Robert. So we'll skip number 24 and...
Oh, I'll take it. Photo.
Sorry, it's already claimed.
It's a good image.
It's too good, yes. Steve, tell us about Smaller Sphere.
This is for you, Matt. This is where you're heading.
That's right.
I would say don't follow the Google directions. It took me through like an industrial area, which did make for some sort of interesting pictures, but I think the way to go is through the Venetian Hotel, which I guess Google didn't realize. But on the way there, I took some pictures, and it's huge, as you know. And this picture normally will show because it's way off in the distance and it's still huge. But in pseudo, it's still big, but smaller because it looks to be closer to you. What I found interesting is the tree branch that was sitting in front of it makes the sphere looks like it's sort of transparent.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great example of what you were describing. It does look like it's scaled down to me.
This is similar to some of Oleg's pictures. It's just, they're breaking some frame lines, but it sort of works.
Yeah, I think it's very successful.
Yeah, I just found that that the sort of transparency looking the most intriguing, because it doesn't look like that normally. It's, of course, it's solid. It's not transparent.
Right.
It's a big giant video screen.
Here it just looks like a kind of a plastic bubble,
Yeah.
maybe like a tent or something. Now that must be in the lower half of the picture, in the background, there must be a wall or something there that's cutting off the view of the rest of the sphere, or is that part of the sphere? Because it looks to me like the
I believe
sphere is
that's a
sort of
wall.
sitting on top of this elevated section.
I'm pretty sure you can see more of the sphere. It's interesting because, yeah, in looking at it, let me look at it normally. Um, you can see like sort of these telephone poles that go off in the distance. Okay, yeah, there we fixed it. Which makes you think that, well, we're just seeing the top of the sphere, because your brain doesn't want to imagine the sphere is so big that it's actually behind the telephone pole that's way in the distance. But I think that is the wall of a building. I believe the sphere, I do have some pictures of the sphere from an airplane, and I think you can see, and then there's promotional videos of it too. You can see most of the sphere from Vegas. Like I said, Google sent me the wrong way. This is a very unattractive way to get there, and there's a much better way to go through the hotel. I think it was the Venetian Hotel. It's obviously near Harrah's, but I don't think you could get there. But anyway,
Well,
I'm sure somebody can tell you.
well,
Well,
Las
I got a
Vegas.
tip for you for
Yes.
Vegas goers. We got a day pass for the Deuce, which is a bus that runs up and down the strip, and it was great because in the past I've used taxis, and even though it's not that far, it can set you back. And plus, it's really hard to get a taxi because the traffic is horrible there. And but the Deuce came, like every 15 minutes. You pay one fee. It took us all the way to Fremont Street, which if you've never been, is worth it. It's Fremont Street is so far from the strip that your instinct is not to go there if you're visiting the strip. But you just get on the Deuce, takes you all the way out there. You can enjoy the dome. If you don't know what it is, they've got a video projection that goes on for several blocks over your head. And they even have like a bungee thing where people fly like Superman several blocks underneath it. I tried to get a picture of that. I just couldn't. It wasn't fast enough. Um, and yeah, so I highly recommend it. The way to go. It stops at a lot of key places.
Good to
I don't
know.
know,
Yeah.
depends on where you're going to be staying.
Well, Las Vegas is a city that really is best viewed at night, I think. The light of day kind of exposes the harsh reality of the city, but when the lights go down, it becomes a magical place.
There are some cool things to do at daytime. There's I'm trying to remember what it's called. Some kind of there's a bizarre, surreal grocery store. I can look it up if you're interested.
Sure. Send me
There's
that
all kinds of
information.
interesting. There's a neon museum, which of course is better at night, and they have one of these. Well, say the Sphere. You can definitely enjoy the Sphere during the day. I'm not really a night person, so I like to find things to do during the day. Plus, we used to take kids there. We would go to the Adventure Dome, which is part of Circus Circus. It's really gone into disrepair now, but when my kids were little, it was a really fun place to go.
Yeah, you want to stay inside in Vegas, definitely. Well, thank you, Steve. And that is our slideshow.
We made it on time,
Pretty
except for the
much.
voting part.
We're not actually done yet. For those who can stick around, and for those who can participate, let's do our poll. We've got a link here. There's a QR code if you'd like to use your phone and tablet. I'm going to run through the slideshow again pretty quickly. I'll give the names and titles, and then we'll make our selections. And here we go. Of course, if you're on the YouTube or Twitch stream, there'll be a bit of a delay from when I announce the title until the time you actually see it. That said, we will begin with Spherical Lens Flare by Melinda. In or Out by Wayne. Couple Enjoying Autumn Colors in the Sierras Pseudo by Oleg. Come On In by Phyllis. Garlic Clove Pseudo by Bob. Mexico in Vegas by Steve. Reverse Pepper by Ed. Silhouette by Roberto. Deep Space by Melinda. Iron by Wayne. Big Sur Bridge, Mirrored and Pseudo by Oleg. Dancing Light by Phyllis. Paris Reflects on London Pseudo by Bob. Mexican Buddha by Roberto. Funnel by Melinda. Munich Shop by Steve. Rock Rot by Wayne. Poster in a Corte Madera shopping mall Pseudo by Oleg. Floating by Phyllis. Portobello Pseudo by Bob. Olympia Turm Munich by Steve. Tree Framed by Melinda. Worn Snow by Wayne. Weather-Worn Wooden Wall, Pseudo by Oleg. Going In by Phyllis. Silhouette by Bob. And Smaller Sphere by Steve. Let's take a minute or two to make our selections. And while we're doing that, I will announce that our next meeting is Tuesday, August 5th. Let me confirm that. Yes, Tuesday, August 5th. Our special subject for August is false frames, described as create a mask or frame that complements a stereo photo and set it in space creatively. I think everyone here gets that.
I thought we were gonna switch it because that's during 3D Con.
Oh, that's right. And that is in my notes. I wanted to confirm that we will be. I'm going to suggest that we skip the meeting on the 5th. That is the 3D Con date, correct?
Yes.
And that we combine our two meetings into one on Tuesday, August 12th. In addition to 3D Con, August is traditionally has the lowest attendance of any of our meetings because people are on vacation, they're on the road, they're taking photos. So, as a quick informal poll to this group, does that sound like it would work? Will we be able to meet on the 12th? Jay, thumbs up. Phyllis, all right. All right, great. Tor's in, Roberto's in. I will follow up with an email, Steve. Incidentally, I'll be redesigning our meeting reminder email so that it's a little more clear when the open division meeting is and when the special division meeting is. But let's plan on seeing each other again on Zoom on the 12th. And just give me a minute here. Let me
Hit submit.
stop sharing. And I will share the results of our poll. Does anyone need more time?
I just hit the result button. I forgot to hit it.
That's okay.
Or the vote button, I guess. Should be in now.
It's a submit button.
Got it.
All right, let me share my screen and we'll look at the results. Here we go. Melinda, well done. 5 votes. Deep Space is our clear leader tonight.
Cool, thanks.
Mexican Buddha, Roberto, well done.
Thank you.
We will call third place a tie between Wayne's In or Out and Ed's Reverse Pepper. And I think Ed probably had to hop offline, but I will share that news with him. Because Ed is really giving us some very unique stuff, and I want him to keep coming back. Well, I want everyone to keep coming back. So if I know that many of us are actually nowhere near San Francisco, but if you happen to be in town this month on Tuesday the 22nd, 2 weeks from today, drop by the Internet Archive, 300 Funston Avenue in San Francisco. The event won't be live streamed. It's a strictly live event, but it promises to be a lot of fun. And I have no idea what kind of, what size audience, but I'm estimating maybe 30 people or so in addition to ourselves. So I hope to see you there. If I don't see you on the 22nd, then I will see you here on Zoom on August 12th.
All right.
I have a quick message
Yes.
to give you. Just today, I think it was today, somebody posted a side-by-side version of the entire Mickey's PhilharMagic, which is a 3D sensory experience. I mean, if you can see it at the park, by all means, because it's on a super wide screen. I think they use 3 projectors or 6 if it's, they probably use Flickr, but anyway, it's a super wide screen. It has some television, and it's a really great experience. It's a sort of CG version of some classic scenes from Disney films. It's Donald Duck creating havoc through all these movies. But they've done somebody's just was able to capture it. I assume they just put 3D glasses over top of a 3D video camera, and they posted it on YouTube. I don't know how long it's going to be there. It's there now, and I posted the link on the chat.
Yeah, thanks, Steve.
You've never seen it, enjoy it. It works. I tried it. Now it's a kind of a, I think it's squeezed a little bit, so it's, you have to unsqueeze it, and it's chopped off the sides. It's not super wide, but you get a pretty good sense of it.
Yeah, I'm watching it now, previewing it. The 3D is very good. It definitely looks like it was recorded on a smartphone or something, but
it was pretty clean though. I mean,
yeah.
There's not a lot of ghosting.
I've also seen some videos posted of the Muppets 3D attraction.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, handheld, pretty dim, but you certainly get the idea.
Well, thank you, Steve. Oh, and I forgot to mention Jay's CAT scan link in the chat. Not specifically a 3D link, but speaking of scanners, definitely worth checking out. All right. Anything else?
I've had a CAT scan as well once in the hospital.
Is that right? But not as, probably wasn't as cute as the one that Jay is showing us. Right. All right. Thank you, everyone, for making it. I thought tonight's slideshow was a real success. I'm so glad to see the participation in this year's special subject challenge. These are challenging subjects, but I'm just amazed at the results that I'm seeing. So thanks, everyone. And I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
All right.
Good night, everybody.
I just have a question.
Yeah.
I just have a question, a quick question. I hope it's quick.
Take it
I'm
away.
playing around with Stereo Photo Maker. I was just loading anaglyphs, full width anaglyphs, saving them, blah, blah, no problem. I must have bumped a button or something because now when I load a full width anaglyph, it comes up as a side-by-side pair anaglyph with the left half on the one side and the right half on the other side. Can tell me someone how just to put it back together into a full anaglyph.
Yeah, I've got an idea. In Stereo
I
Photo
have it
Maker,
open. I've got
yeah.
it open right now.
Okay.
So
Go to in the top menu, go to the
Yep.
stereo item.
I got File, Edit, View, Stereo, Adjust, Web, Help.
Stereo is what you want. Click stereo.
Stereo. Yep.
And then go down to, so you want it to be, you want to see it as an anaglyph?
They're anaglyphs, but one half of the anaglyph and then a gap like
Yeah.
a 2-frame thing. And I
what you
want it
need
just
to
put back
do-
to a full anaglyph.
Click stereo, click color anaglyph, and then
Yeah.
I think the top one, does that do the trick for you?
All it did was turn it into a narrow anaglyph that only has half the image, not the full image.
Let's see. That sometimes happens to me where the stereo setting is different than the actual file format, but it sounds like that's not what's happening in your case.
Because I was using it earlier tonight and it was working fine. And I think I just bumped something to make it do this split screen thing.
How about...
I don't know how to fix it.
Yeah. Try the options in the View menu item.
View, okay.
Yeah.
I got normal size, fit to window. Let me just keep clicking
Try
here.
those, yeah.
Normal size just made it bigger. Fit to window, still narrow, only half size. Panoramic to screen, didn't do anything. Horizontal auto scroll, nothing. Vertical auto scroll, nothing.
Is there a side-by-side option? It seems like that's what's in the way.
I don't see side by side in the view area.
Try the stereo item.
Or in stereo, I don't see. Oh, wait a minute. Let me see. Side by side.
Side by side.
Oh, okay. I clicked side by side and I get the split screen half and half thing. let me go back to half width with stereo. No, it's even just narrower and still split screen.
Well, I think your answer.
Mirror lens.
I think your answer is in one of those commands.
Well, that's what I thought. I went through every one of them and it didn't fix. And I tried closing the program altogether and reloading, and it still is stuck on this. Is there a way to reset all the settings on a button somewhere?
Yeah, good question. I'm looking for that now. You know, with all these different views and modes that Stereo Photomaker has, there are these keyboard shortcuts, and I imagine maybe you just hit a key on your keyboard and it must have shifted it.
I may have bumped something accidentally, but it's I can't get rid of it. That's the problem.
Yeah, I don't see a reset in Stereo Photomaker. Does anyone else have any ideas? Yeah, sorry, Peter. I think you're just going to have to experiment with those
Okay.
those values, and let us know what you figure out.
Yeah, because it's the first time it's ever happened to me, and using Stereo Photomaker for all these years. So I don't know what happened. Maybe my computer did something weird to it.
Maybe it'll fix itself in the morning.
Yeah, that's right. Everything gets better in the morning. Right. Well, thank you for trying to help.
Give those things a try.
I will. I'll run through the entire menu and see what happens.
All right.
All right.
All
well,
right.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks all. See you later.
All right.
Bye. Bye.